Welcome to Let's Get Cooking. So today at the Capital Market, we are doing celebrating apples and local. So we're gonna do an apple crumble with a scoop of Ellen's ice cream, of course. And then we're gonna do a braised cabbage with fennel and caramelized onions with angelos sausage with a little hawk knob, local cider. So come on out. Thanks to HD Media, AARP, the paper, Capital Market. Let's get cooking. Well, thank you so much. This has been it's been a crazy year. It's been great for our teams. It's been great for our city. It's been great for the market. It's been great for everybody. I think it's not the reason, the awards, the accolades, those kinds of things are not the reason that I moved home, but trying to make a difference, trying to share the food ways, the food culture, the Appalachian heritage was something that I always wanted to do. I've had a very fortunate career and been able to travel the country and travel the world and cook, but I never felt like I was at home anywhere, whether I was in Napa Valley, Asheville, Vero Beach, New York City. There was always something missing, and it was home. It was West Virginia. It was what makes West Virginia so good. It was the people. It was you. And so thank you very much for supporting our family of restaurants. Thank you so much for supporting the Capital Market. Thanks for supporting AARP, because it does take a village, literally. And I think this Let's Get Cooking is the epitome of that. Evan does a fantastic job. Gayleen and her team does a fantastic job. Jane does a fantastic job. The entire team here at the Capital Market, whether it's an inside vendors, the outside vendors, there's been so many places that I've been able to cook, but not a lot of places have this. This is not only a feather in my cap as a chef and as a home chef for you guys, but it's a social hub as well. We talk about the James Beard Award, we talk about the watch party, the exciting thing, and I think the most exciting thing for me was the feeling that I got when I was receiving all of the messages from people all over the state, and that we as a team at 1010 and the Pitch and Ellen's and the Humble Tomato and Barcadas, we were a conduit that kind of allowed and really put a smile on West Virginia's face and gave us pride. We are a very pride culture, and we keep things pretty close to the vest, but the watch party was the coolest thing. 500 people coming to watch the big screen, and Evan and my partners put it together, and when they announced that we didn't win, I was disappointed. I felt like I let people down for about 5 seconds, and I got a text message from Evan, and it was literally 500 people right here, arm in arm, singing Country Roads. And it was awesome. It was the reason why I do what I do, and we do what we do in the hospitality industry, and why we do what we do at AARP, we do what we do at the Capital Market, and why all of these farmers do, and Soho's, and all the vendors inside. We do it for you. We do it for the experience. We do it for putting a smile on people's faces. Everything from Oh My Greens, which makes our food look more beautiful, and also adds a flavor profile. We talk as business owners about ways to work together. And today we're going to talk about that a little further. We're going to talk about kind of what inspires me, the ingredients. The ingredients behind what we do. You know, I talk about Napa Valley. I've talked about it 100 times now. If you've been here for, gosh, how long we've been doing this? I think this is 8, maybe 10 years now that I've been doing Let's Get Cooking. When I was in Napa, you know, I'm classically French trained. I can drown things in butter and cream, and that's kind of the classic French technique. But when I was in Napa and I had this kind of at my fingertips all year round, it was about the ingredients, it was about seasonality, it was about letting the apples speak for themselves, and the fennel and the cabbage, and also partnering with people like the Capital Market, like Hawks Knob, and letting the food speak for itself. Add a little J.Q. Dickinson salt and pepper, and let the food be the food. So today, and it's kind of, it's always bittersweet when it's the last one. AARP and Capital Market willing, will be back again next year. You heard it here first. Please come to the Market Mixer. I'm going to do a shameless plug for it. It is the second best party of the year. I think the watch party was definitely the first best. I think people let loose a little bit. But it is the most important day for the Capital Market. It is the time when we get to celebrate the market, when we support the market. The market is a nonprofit, so it takes us to donate, to give back, to participate, to support. And that's why I do what I do. You know, that's why I'm here, is to support the market and to support the community. And you know, somebody asked me, actually last night, I was talking on a podcast, and you know, chefs have their shtick. So farm to table, fine dining, tweezer chef, whatever it is. And they said, well, what do you define yourself as? And I said, well, I don't really look at myself, so I'm a line cook. I cook. When the day that I don't want to work on the line, and when I think I'm above it, is the day that I'll quit. But what I consider myself is the community chef. So your chef, the chef that will be at the events, that will give back, that makes sure that people, we are, you know, fortunate enough to have a little bit of means, and you know, a lot of our patrons at the Pitch and Ellen's and Barcadas and 1010 and the Humble Tomato, we have the means to go out to eat, but also it's as important to me to cook for the Covenant House events, to raise money for those that aren't as fortunate as we are, and make sure that they can eat as well. So today, we are going to celebrate the apple. We've got a couple different apples here, so Evan kind of gave me a quick schooling on all the apples that we have here at the market. Most of these are from Romney, Eastern Northern Panhandle. That's where the apples grow really, really well here in West Virginia. So we've got the Cosmic Crisp, we've got the Wine Sap, which is kind of like the Beaujolais Nouveau of the apple. It's like the Paw Paw of apples. It's only available for like 2 weeks. So get them today. Granny Smith, Gala, and Crimson Red. So each apple has kind of its own, you know, it's the own crispness. Either it's better for baking or for eating. I think the Wine Sap is probably one of my new favorites to just grab and eat. So today, we're gonna do an apple crumble. We've got some little tart shells that Evan handmade. So we got chocolate tart shells. We're gonna saute some apples. We're gonna make kind of an apple pie filling. Then we're gonna do a streusel topping or a crumble topping. We're gonna finish it. We're gonna, of course, an apple pie or apple crumble would not be complete without a scoop of vanilla. And what better to do than Ellen's vanilla ice cream? Another shameless plug there. And then we're gonna celebrate more of West Virginia's great ingredients. So we're gonna do an angelos sausage, braised cabbage, caramelized onion, and fennel together. So we're gonna finish it with a little Hawks Knob cider. So Hawk Knob, little did we know, how this was going to evolve. So Hawks Knob is made from apples, right? So it's a hard apple cider. It's a fermented product. So just like a great West Virginia company, when Joel saw that there was another company that was in trouble, which was Greenbrier Valley Brewing. They were struggling. He stepped in and bought Greenbrier Valley Brewing about 6 months ago. So he is single-handedly revitalizing one of the best breweries in West Virginia and probably one of the biggest. Not an easy undertaking, so I'm super happy to be a part of that and help him out with that. So without further ado, we're going to start with some apples. So again, Granny Smiths are a little tart, so I'm going to mix in a couple of different apples together. The Crimson Red is a little less tart, so we're going to, if you're working, and I say this a lot, if you're working in a French fine dining restaurant, we might peel the apple, dice it perfectly, where the chefs are kind of measuring your cuts. But in our restaurants, and in Appalachian, a lot of Appalachian cuisine, whether it's Nouveau Appalachian or, rustic Appalachian, I like to leave the skins on. I like the profile that it gives. I like the color that it gives. And I kind of vowed I was never going to. Now, I will measure some of the young culinarians' cuts just to mess with them a little bit. But, a lot of what we do is now kind of elegant peasant food, or what we have always done in Appalachia is utilize what we have at our fingertips, utilize everything. So at the restaurant we would take the cores and then we would soak them, we would cook them down in a little simple syrup, so water and sugar mixture, and we would make another sauce out of it, or we would add that liquid to this. It's all about necessity. It's all about what we have and utilizing what we have. After all this hoopla with the James Beard stuff, I'm actually speaking at a couple of conferences this year. So who would have thought that a little chef from a small town in West Virginia would be speaking at the South Carolina Hospitality and Tourism Conference? And then going to Napa Valley, kind of back to the scene of the crime, and speaking about the kind of the nuances of Appalachian cuisine. So I'm gonna do a demo in front of 75 chefs from around the country on Appalachian cuisine, on techniques. Well, I'm gonna do a wood-fired venison backstrap, and I'm going to do a couple classic techniques that we would do. Like let's say right now, corn is abundant. So what we would do is we would make sour corn. So we would take it, we would ferment the corn, we would jar the corn. So I'm going to do a sour corn and apple hash on top of that. Talk about the importance of kind of getting back to our heritage and canning and pickling and fermenting and all the things that are now super cool that the chefs in New York City are doing, but that we've done here for generations. What's a pound of ramps go for in New York City? $15 a pound. So, and again, I'm going to do a ramp ranch. I'm going to do our Nashville hot oysters. So I'm doing two different demos and really talking about the history of Appalachia. Again, we're going to tell our story in a very cool place. And that's the cool thing about our craft is I needed to go and learn, but I always wanted to come home. And now it's kind of coming full circle. So I'm able to share a little bit of my knowledge, not only with our teams, but now with some of the great chefs from around the country in one of the coolest places. And maybe, have a little hard cider at the same time. It's wonderful to have this would be awesome to have in the kitchen. Just a little drain right in the kitchen. I just, pour out the liquid. Thank you. This is very well thought out. Thank you, AARP. But honestly, I mean, all that you see here, the grill, the oven, which is probably nicer than the oven that I have at the restaurants, this is all really in part to Gayleen and her team and AARP and the importance of community. So thank you very much for everything, for all that you do for us. I get to come and have fun. And it takes, again, it takes a team to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to saute these apples real quick. While I'm doing this, we're going to talk a little bit about cabbage and fennel. So fennel is that kind of anise flavor, licorice. Either you really like it or you really don't. I have really come to love it. We use it quite a bit. The cool thing about it is you can utilize a lot of the different parts of it. The fronds we will pick and use as garnish on these dishes. Kind of getting back to, the oh my greens or garnish in general. I think garnish has evolved a lot. It's no longer just a sprig of parsley and a twist of lemon just for a little bit of color on the plate. Now it's thought out. So we will talk about what garnish we're using when we do a new menu. We'll talk about, if we're doing a caramelized onion and braised cabbage and Hawk's Knob cider braised sausage, we'll talk about, okay, well, we need